Pere, 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 pere. Pere, 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 pere. Pere, 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 pere.
Happy New Year, One Piece fans! 2024 was a big one for the Straw Hats. The anime finally wrapped up the Wano arc and arrived in Egghead with a killer new opening, delivered quite possibly the greatest filler episode ever made with fan letters, and ended the year with a stunning remaster of the Fishman Island arc. On the live-action front, Season 2 officially kicked into production with the Alabasta saga, and fans were introduced to a slew of new actors joining the cast as fan-favorite characters, including Joe Manganiello as Sir Crocodile. And finally, the manga brought the Egghead Island arc to an earth-shattering conclusion that changed everything fans know about the world of One Piece, and set the stage for the series' endgame. If that wasn't enough, we ended the year with the Straw Hats arriving at the long-awaited Island of Giants, Elbaf, where Oda left us with one final surprise that has left fans in a frenzy. Yet, somehow, I couldn't help but celebrate the new year wondering, is 2025 going to end up being even bigger for One Piece? Before we delve into that question further, I want to give a quick warning that this video will 100% be filled to the brim with spoilers for both the anime and the manga, all the way up to the current chapter of 1135. So, if you are a law-abiding citizen of the world government and want to stay blissfully unaware of the secrets of the world, I recommend that you turn back now, lest ye be spoiled. So, let's start off with Oda's yearly message from Jump Festa, the annual anime and manga convention held in Tokyo. Traditionally, the mangaka has used this event to tease fans about things to come in the new year. This year's letter was no different, as it was filled with lots of information and juicy details. So, let's break them all down. Franky. To begin, this year's message kicked off with a tribute to Kazuki Yao, the Japanese voice actor for Franky, who sadly announced his retirement from the role at the end of 2024 due to health issues. If you haven't seen it, there were a lot of incredibly touching moments with him and the rest of the original voice cast at this year's Jump Festa. He also literally passed the torch, or rather Speedo, to the new voice actor for Franky, Subaru Kimura, who will be taking over the role when the series resumes in 2025. Yao even taught Kimura how to properly do a super on stage. It's wholesome as hell. Check it out.
Super! Super! Okay. じゃあ、2人で。あ、わかりました。はい。せーの。Super! Super!
Live Action Season 2. The first project Oda really talks about in depth is the second season of the live-action Netflix series, which he visited the set for in South Africa last year. Says Oda, as reported earlier, I was moved by the love the cast and crew have for One Piece, and I was filled with a renewed sense of resolve. People ask me, why are you putting so much effort into a live-action adaptation when One Piece is already popular around the world? Yes, it may be quite known internationally in the manga and anime realm, but if you're told there's a bigger playground out there in the world, wouldn't you want to go out and explore it? That's why I'm putting my all into everything: the manga, the anime, the films, and the live action. The live-action series was certainly a surprise hit when it premiered in 2023. It's arguably the best anime adaptation ever made, not that the bar was incredibly high, Death Note.
But I'm sure you're painfully aware of that.
But it's easy to assume a great deal of that has to do with Oda's involvement. The first season brought so many wonderful changes to the East Blue saga, such as incorporating Arlong more throughout the Straw Hat's early journey to really build him up as a more prominent villain for the entire saga, rather than simply the final encounter before the crew heads to the Grand Line. And that's one aspect of the live-action series that I've loved most, seeing how Oda was able to infuse new facets of the series into the earlier days of the story, which are now being revisited by the live-action show. Introducing characters like Garp much earlier and planting seeds for some of the larger world building was a nice touch that I felt made the Netflix series much richer. With Season 2 heading into one of my all-time favorite arcs of the series, Alabasta, it's reassuring to know that Oda is putting just as much love, care, and attention into the future of all things One Piece, including the live action. They're not rushing through the storyline either. Alabasta will be split between Seasons 2 and 3, with Season 2 covering up to Drum Island. All this to say, I'm really excited by the prospect of Oda breathing new life into this era of One Piece.
Nothing's gonna stand in our way!
New One Piece movies. While Oda only passingly mentioned films in his statement, it was revealed at Jump Festa that Toei Animation is currently working on 2 new, yet-to-be-revealed movies, one of which is presumed to be One Piece. Considering One Piece Film Red released almost 4 years ago now, a new movie releasing in 2025 or 2026 would keep in line with the typical release cadence for the franchise. What that movie will be, or when exactly it will arrive, is anyone's guess, but we can hope for more information soon, especially with the anime returning in April. One Piece anime returns, Egghead peak impending. Speaking of which, let's take a quick moment to talk about the anime, and why 2025 is going to be a massive year for it. Not only has the anime been on hiatus from the Egghead Island arc since October, we actually haven't caught up with the Straw Hat crew since episode 1111, which aired back at the very beginning of July.
It's been 84 years.
Egghead is a very crucial and expansive arc, and plays a major part in kicking off the final saga, so it makes sense that Oda structured the arc to jump around the world of One Piece and properly set up a few of the other important plot threads for the most prominent characters in the story, which is what we saw in the remaining episodes of the 2024 run. First, with the utter devastation of the Kid Pirates, then, with the crucial insights into the goings-on of Kobe, Blackbeard, and Garp, we got arguably the most significant portion of the story with the reveal of what exactly happened at the Reverie with Sabo, Vivi, and Bonnie, which was important, to say the least. Oh yeah, Lucky too. He's doing great. However, the return to the Straw Hat story on Egghead is going to be a massive one. If you don't want manga spoilers, feel free to skip ahead, but I need to express just how incredible this next run of episodes is going to be in the One Piece anime. Still here? Cool. So, yeah, the second half of Egghead Island is quite possibly one of the most consequential series of events in the story to date. While it's unclear exactly whether this batch of episodes will be the last for the arc or if it will require a part 3, the trailer released at Jump Festa, along with the key art, seems to indicate we can anticipate at least a few major events to come in the ensuing episodes. For one, we have the arrival of Kizaru and Saint Saturn on the island, which, needless to say, will lead to some incredible battle scenes to look forward to. Not only that, but the secret of the Gurusai's true power will likely be revealed as well. Whether or not we'll see the whole gang join the party in these episodes is yet to be seen, but if we do, it's going to be an epic turning point for fans who have long been speculating and anticipating this group to enter the picture and do more than just sit stoically. Outside of the threat about to land on the island, we'll also be getting one of the most heartbreaking flashback stories of the series, as we finally delve into the tragic history of Bartholomew Kuma. When I tell you how much this flashback made me cry, y'all aren't ready. Not only is it a revealing insight into both Bonnie and Kuma's life, it also greatly recontextualizes several aspects of the One Piece story we've come to know in pretty substantial ways. It honestly made me want to go back and reread the series given the new perspective it offered. Just have your tissues ready. Trust me. Finally, the most important aspect these new upcoming episodes could bring is Vegapunk's broadcast. Again, it's unclear just how far these new episodes will get into the story, but from all indications, we could at least see the beginnings of Vegapunk's world-changing reveal come into play this year, which if it happens, will be one of the most important moments in the anime as it was in the manga. All this to say, this portion of the manga is full of so many historic moments for the series, and if you're an anime-only watcher, it's going to be one of the biggest years of the show's history. The One Piece. When it comes to anime though, there's more than one series for fans to look forward to. Although nothing was officially mentioned about it at Jump Festa, Wit Studios' remake, The One Piece, is likely to premiere sometime this year. First announced at Jump Festa 2023, The One Piece is set to retell the story from the beginning with new animation from the studio behind Attack on Titan. This series is aiming to not only remake the early years of the anime with better modern animation, but also give a much needed adjustment to the show's pacing, which has been a long-held criticism of the anime. While again, little has been released so far for the series outside of a few select images from various scenes in the East Blue Saga, this series is sure to be a massive hit with both new and old fans alike. My best assumption is that since it's being produced by Netflix, they're probably looking to coincide the release with season 2 of the live-action series in some way, but it's really anybody's guess at this point. Here's hoping we find out more information soon so we can all break that romance dawn once again. The manga, Shanks' Return, Elbaph, and beyond. Last but certainly not least, is the undoubtedly epic year ahead for the manga. Obviously, this section is going to go greatly into spoilers for the current chapters, so once again, if you want to avoid that thing, you know the drill. So, as Oda himself points out, as for the manga, we've finally arrived in Elbaf. It's a laid-back kingdom, but the serenity is about to be shattered by the arrival of a particular man. Meanwhile, there will be tumult in other seas as well, and at last, that one guy will begin shaking up the world. Take a deep breath now, because soon you may not be able to come up for air. For those not in the know, the manga concluded the year with the arrival of two mysterious cloaked figures on Elbaf, one of which being the rather evil-looking Shanks we last saw at the Reverie chatting it up with the Gurusei. Now, if you saw our previous video on the theory, many fans have long speculated since that appearance that this is not actually Shanks, but rather a secret celestial dragon brother. I like to call him Shanks. Needless to say, Shanks' return was a major surprise, and has significantly raised the stakes on Elbaf. As of chapter 1135, we have still yet to see the other side of his face where Shanks' scars are, so we don't exactly have confirmation yet that this is in fact a doppelganger and not the man himself, but a reveal of just who this figure is and what he wants feels imminent. This also adds a layer to Loki's character, who was also introduced at the end of last year and at first glance seemed to be built up as the big bad of this arc. However, given his transponder snail conversation with a mysterious friend he refers to as Shaggy, along with the arrival of Shanks, it's beginning to feel that there's more to this giant prince than we were first led to believe. It's unclear from Oda's message whether Shanks is the particular man set to shatter the peace of Elbaf, or if there will be another surprise waiting in the wings. After all, there have also been several ominous teases at another figure lurking around the island before the Straw Hats arrived, who is yet to be revealed. Fan theories on this mystery character have ranged anywhere from former Roger pirate Scobber Gavin to Roger's questionably canonical rival Shiki to the legend Rocksteady Zebek himself. It could really be anyone at this point, and that's not even considering if that's a different person than that one guy who will begin shaking up the world. Is it Blackbeard? Is it Emu? Is it Enel, finally returning from his trip to the moon? The tease of there will be tumult in other seas as well also raises serious questions about where some of these other storylines we saw in Egghead could build as well. Whether it's Shanks, Blackbeard, Cross Guilds, or the world government, there are now several massive powers at play all throughout the seas of One Piece in an increasingly unstable power system. We've also yet to see the true impact Vegapunk's broadcast had on the average citizens of the world, and it feels as though that could have a fairly significant role in Oda's endgame as well. After all, what is the story of One Piece if not the story of empowering the masses to fight back against oppression and seek their freedom? With the Straw Hats getting closer and closer to the end of their journey, anything is possible, which begs the question, is One Piece's ending closer than we think? Oda has been teasing the series ending for quite some time now. Like, seriously, dude's been saying the end is nigh more than your estranged uncle who joined a doomsday cult. In 2014, he indicated that the series was roughly 60 to 70% complete, with an estimated 10 years left in the story, and seemingly reaffirmed that estimate in 2020 when he stated that the series had another 4 or 5 years left, both of which placed the estimated ending around 2024 to 2025. Now, it's hard to imagine things could completely wrap up this year, but 2024 certainly made the series Endgame feel more present than ever, and given Oda's statement in the Jump Festa letter, it feels like we could be seeing the story accelerating towards an ending faster than some might have expected. Last year, One Piece YouTuber Mr. Morge, he's great, check him out, calculated that in order to tell the presumed remaining arcs, Elbaf, Laugh Tale, and the Final War, it would take the series until 2032 to reach its conclusion. This took into account several factors, including Oda's reduced output of chapters per year, as well as the typical structure for arc lengths and Oda's traditional milestones. However, it's entirely possible that Oda has something completely unexpected in store for us, and that Elbaf will be taking a completely different turn and directly lead into what will be the final endgame of the series. My personal prediction is that Oda's warning of take a deep breath now because soon you may not be able to come up for air means that whatever is about to happen on Elbaf will kickstart a series of continuous action that ultimately culminates with the final war, bypassing fans' assumption of Elbaf's length and structure. I think if Elbaf were going to be structured like a traditional arc as we've seen previously throughout the series, Loki would be the big bad, and we could expect a typical kingdom arc wherein Luffy and the crew liberate an oppressed nation. Yet, Loki increasingly appears to not be the primary threat we were led to believe, and Elbaf is far from a society in need of liberation. In fact, many One Piece YouTubers started theorizing just how Loki's true nature could impact the story. Mr. Morge even posed a particularly intriguing theory that I believe, if true, could support my prediction for an accelerated timeline to the final war. In his recent video, Mr. Morge speculates that Loki's primary role in the story is to, well, die. Specifically, to die at the hands of Blackbeard so that the series' long-awaited big bad can steal his devil fruit power and become the literal Dark Mirror version to Luffy's sun god Nika. For a full breakdown of the theory, I highly recommend checking out Mr. Morge's video, which you can find linked below. However, to my point, this would explain a great deal about the current situation on Elbaf, with Shanks and his mysterious companion seemingly there for Loki. Likewise, if it brought Blackbeard to the island, it would certainly escalate things on a macro-scale level and propel the narrative towards the final conflict between Luffy and Blackbeard. Regardless, whatever threat looms over this arc is an external one, and one with far grander implications for the story than just the Straw Hats' adventures on Elbaf. The way that things escalated on Egghead and the similar feeling Shanks' arrival invokes, it leads me to believe that Elbaf is about to be even bigger in terms of the global impact of the story. To me, it feels like Oda is done telling self-contained arcs. The world of One Piece has reached a scope we have not seen since Marineford, where the story is not Luffy's alone, but a larger narrative that Oda has been slowly weaving in the background this entire time. Vegapunk fired the proverbial starting pistol to the world with his broadcast on Egghead, and we could soon see the results of that global race to claim the One Piece sooner than any of us expected or maybe prepared for. And that could make 2025 one of the biggest years ever for the series. But what do you think? Will Elbaf be the beginning of the end? What are you most excited for from One Piece in 2025? Let us know in the comments, and for the latest and greatest from the world of pop culture, keep your transponder snails tuned to Nerdist.